Hello everyone, that Manga Kid here to do my November 2020 manga haul. I'm going to start off with the only thing I have that is not manga. I came across these Fanta Graphics, the complete Creepax collection on Fanta Graphics website. I went into their erotica section because I was just curious what they had there, and I had never heard of Creepax. Guido Creepax is an Italian comic artist who created things between the 60s and then the early 2000s when he passed away. And so Fantagraphics a few years ago, I guess, decided to release his entire life's work in these giant, and when I say giant, I mean like this is my hand, this is the book, hardcover, beautiful, they're so heavy, releases. And unfortunately, volume 1 is out of print. Thankfully, he, when he was creating comics, he was not creating them in order. His main character that features in most of his stories is Valentina, but while he was creating things, he just did whatever he wanted, and the storyline and the timeline, jumped around a lot. And so Fantagraphics, I think what they've done is they've taken a lot of the chunks of stories and like put them in each collection. Like this one's The Time Eater and Other Stories. This one is a very sci-fi focused volume. The first one had a lot of horror stories, which I'm super sad I missed out on, but it is what it is. He also, in addition to his Valentina stories, has some other adaptions of things as well. So in volume 3, this one, I haven't read this one yet. I've only read the second one so far. Volume 3 has some of his adaptions of some Edgar Allan Poe works. It's got a Jekyll and Dr. Hyde adaptation as well in it. And the first volume had a Frankenstein adaptation. I am going to show you some artwork. I have to be careful because this is an erotic thing, but the pirate spaceship story doesn't really have much nudity or anything in it. So the art is absolutely stunning. These are glossy pages. You can see like just how incredible this is. He is very good at drawing women. There is quite a bit of nudity, not necessarily super overly sexual themes, but a lot of, the art is just incredible. But yeah, this one was more sci-fi focused, and I really, really enjoyed it. And so I got the next 2 as well. So this is volume 3, and here's the back of it. And then volume 4 as well, which is beautiful colors on it as well. Oh, it is a workout carrying these, I'll tell you that. So Fantagraphics has done, they released them in the singles, which cost about, in Canada, they're about $112 per book, but they also released these 2-in-1 box sets. So this is the box set that I got for volumes 3 and 4. Again, volume 1 is out of print, as well as the volume 1 and 2 box set. So I missed out on that, but I managed to find volume 2 just singularly on its own. So you can buy these either singularly, or you can buy these, wait for the 2-in-1 box sets to come out. So the box set for volumes 5 and 6 is going to be out mid-2021, so I'll definitely be picking that up when it's ready. But yeah, it's something really cool I had never heard of, and I just saw it and immediately was like, this is something that needs to be in my collection. And it's very much like, I love alternative manga, and it very much has the same sort of feel and vibe as a lot of the alternative manga that I read. And so it's not a far stretch I think, for a manga reader to hop into Creepax's work and enjoy it. So just something to think about if you have the funds and the interest in it. This is by far the most expensive thing I have in my collection. Like I said, I didn't pay $112 per volume, but the box set for the 2 books is like about $200 Canadian, and then the single, if you buy them singularly, they're about $112 each. So it's an investment, and I think there's going to be 10 in total. So it'll be quite the collection altogether. Hopefully one day I can track down volume 1. But anyway, onto the manga. I've got Primitive Boyfriend, the final volume 3. Excellent, short, different romance series. I think a lot of people were put off by this one for various reasons. I honestly thought it was a very interesting, different take on a romance series that was so much fun and really cute. The art is great. I really don't want to open this up too much because, again, it is the 3rd and final volume and I really don't want to spoil anything. But I do have a review video coming out in the new year of this one, and then also can't remember if I did a first impressions or not, but either way, excellent series if you're looking for a short, cute romance. Next up, we got the final volume of Arakawa Under the Bridge. This is the volume 8. There are 15 in total, single volumes in Japan, so the other ones in English were all 2-in-1 omnibuses. This final one is a single volume. I fell off this series a little bit in the middle because it's so zany and wacky, and I just didn't think that this could last a 15-volume series, but apparently it did. But the final 3 volumes, I guess, in total, so the last omnibus, volume 7, and then this volume 8, were really compelling because it actually had like something happening and you could feel it was coming to a conclusion. So still recommend Arakawa Under the Bridge for those of you who are looking for something that is just so bizarre. It's about basically a bunch of technically homeless people living under this bridge, but they've created their own little society under this bridge, and they're all insane. They're all various different creatures or claiming to be space aliens or whatever. They're nuts. And this guy is a regular dude, but he's got a lot of quirks, and he ends up under the bridge with these other people, and it's just crazy. I don't really want to open... I guess here's a nice little picture in the front of all the characters. But yeah, it's pretty good. Happy it's over. Liked the conclusion. It was great. Next up, I completed the Kase-san and series, the original series. So this is a 5-volume Girls Love series. I had bought volume 1. I don't know if it was last month or the month before. Really, really loved it. This is my new favorite Girls Love Yuri series. It is, this is Kase-san. She's on the track team. This is Yamada, and she is, they're both in high school. They start dating, and it's just a fluffy, sweet, very cute girls' love. Does have a little bit of, like, sexual attraction. At this point in time, they haven't actually done much, but you can tell that they are attracted to each other, which I like, especially for, Yamada, who is new to dating females. Her attraction, but also nervousness and hesitation is really adorable, and quite realistic. So I'm on volume 5 right now. I haven't read it yet, but then there's the spin-off series Casa Sananyamada, which I think has a couple volumes out right now, but yeah, I haven't started volume 5 yet, but each one has really cute color pages at the beginning and just really, really adorable little short stories about these two throughout their high school existence. And then Casa Sananyamada, I believe, takes place when they're in college. Highly, highly, highly recommend if you have not checked it out already. It is, like I said, my new favorite Girls Love series. Next up, Volume 4 of Given came in, another super criminally thin volume. More drama in this one, music, boys love series, but yeah, I mean, I really wish they were thicker because you wait all this time and this tiny thing shows up, and this retails in Canada for $18, which is insane for that lack of substance or quantity, I guess. It's a good series. I'm enjoying it. And I didn't pay that much for it. I did get it on sale, but I just think that, you know, it's a bit upsetting when a tiny, tiny volume shows up. On the flip side, this Koi Monogatari Love Stories is a huge volume. This is volume 2. I have not read this one yet because it came in later in the month. It was delayed. I had it pre-ordered and it didn't show up for a long time, but this is the story of this boy here who is straight. He kind of hears a rumor about this other kid in the class next door who is supposedly gay, and they end up kind of becoming acquaintances and then sort of friends. And, you know, this is one of the most realistic BL sort of LGBT stories I've read in a while. The first volume, I don't know about this one particularly, but the first volume shocked me. I had no idea what it was, no idea what to expect. I assumed based on the title, the Koi Monogatari Love Stories, I thought it was going to be short stories when I went into it, but it is a continuous story about the same group of people. And the art is really, really interesting and nice. I like the way that this mangaka does faces. But yeah, it's a very slow burn. If you're looking for like anything relationship-wise, at least in the first volume, there was no hint of any relationship happening anytime soon. I believe this is supposed to be a 3-volume series in total. But yeah, this is a very thick second volume. Excited to read it because the first volume was just so compelling. I was super intrigued about the character development between these two, and then also the two of them individually. I'm very excited to see where this is going to go and how they're going to kind of grow together. Next up, Let's Dance a Waltz 1 and 2. So now I have the whole thing because I bought volume 3 months ago. I read only volume 1 so far. It is a very fluffy, cute ballroom dance series. I own quite a few ballroom dance manga series. This one is probably going to be my least favorite of all the ones I own, but I already kind of knew that going in because Ten Dance and Welcome to the Ballroom have set the bar so high. But this one's a cute shoujo. It's got cute art about this kind of shy girl who meets the super popular dude in school at I believe it's his mom's ballroom dancing studio, and so apparently she's like a natural dancer and she didn't even know, and these two are one of the best, like, top kind of junior couples, I guess, at this point in time. Yeah, it's ballroom dance manga. Nothing seriously new. This one's just more fluffy and cute. But yeah. Then we got Blood on the Tracks Volume 3. I will definitely not open this up because of spoilers, but continues to be an amazingly creepy, unsettling story about an overprotective mother and her, I think he's about 13 years old or so, and just the kind of horror that is occurring because of her mental state and how it is affecting her son, who is just sort of seemingly now kind of realizing that there might be something very, very wrong with his mom. It's a really, really unsettling story, but amazing. Next up, we got Go With the Clouds, North by Northwest, Volume 4. This is an Aki Irie title. This is one of my favorite ongoing series right now. I waited so long for this volume. I've had it pre-ordered the entire year, basically, and it kept getting pushed back, as with a lot of other things that did this year, but definitely worth the wait. This is a set in Iceland, beautiful art, about this guy who kind of does odd jobs, like odd delivery jobs, and he can also communicate with vehicles. So everybody, there's a few different people in this series that have like sort of interesting powers or abilities in some way, but it is a very slice of life, slow paced story. And then there's also this like murder mystery situation happening at the same time with some of these characters, and it's so fascinating. If you're looking for something fast paced, this is not for you, but because I know some people got really frustrated with like the fact that, you know, it'll drop these really interesting pieces about this murder plot that's happening and then at the same time in the next volume it'll focus on, you know, the landscapes and the main characters just general delivery jobs. But honestly, I just find it well intertwined. I just really, really, really like it. And yeah, definitely amazing title that's being released right now. Then we got the next volume of Living Room Matsunaga-san, Volume 5. Continues to be a really, really fun romance title, age gap, boarding house. I love boarding house stories. And this one's got amazing art, beautiful characters, fun, but not like overly zany and wacky. They're just a fun group of young people living in the same house, and it's going well. Then we have another Hikaru Nakamura title with Saint Young Men Volume 4. I haven't started reading Saint Young Men yet because I only own Volumes 2 and 4, because these, in Canada, retail for $32, which is insane because these are not good quality books. These hardcovers that Kodansha has been putting out are not good quality. They're really light. The paper is not good quality paper, and it's just it's a hardcover for the sake of being one, which I hate. I really don't like that. And so I only buy these when I can get them for like $10 each. So Volume 2 and 4 ended up on sale to the point where I got them for $10 each, and I'm waiting for Volumes 1 and 3, or at least Volume 1, so I can start reading it, but I refuse to pay. I just refuse to pay more than this is worth, because this is not a lot of content in a not great quality book. It's not bad quality. It's just, if you're going to make a hardcover, not, you know, something that is a cheap book disguised as a good quality book. It just frustrates me. But anyway, Saint Young Men is about Jesus and Buddha in an apartment in Japan together. I watched the anime years ago, and it's hilarious. So I'm excited to read this. And it's zany, wacky, Hikaru Nakamura goodness, but I'm just not impressed with the release. I wish they had done softcover, but anyway. Next up, I got some used stuff, and I found this. This is not technically manga. It's the Mammoth Book of Best New Manga. I found this for a couple dollars. It's full color. None of it is, as far as I remember, I don't think any of it is by a Japanese creator. It's a lot of English creators, and I think there's some Korean stuff in here as well. But I bought it because some of the art is like really, really beautiful. And I figured that even if I, you know, only like a couple of the stories in here for like $3, it's pretty nice to look at least some of them. So I've enjoyed quite a few of the stories. I haven't read the whole thing yet, but I've enjoyed quite a few of the stories that I've read. Some of them aren't great at all, but again, also I figured too, if I really hated all of it, at least the art is cool, and I could cut this up and use this for art or for crafts or something. But yeah. Then I found something I have been looking for years. Beauty Pop is a mostly out of print shoujo beat title, 10-volume series about this group of boys they call themselves the Scissors Project, which is so strange. And they basically give makeovers to girls at their school, and it's like a whole event, and everybody wants to be the next candidate for the Scissors Project. And our main girl is amazing at cutting hair. Her father owns a salon, and but she doesn't really. She's not impressed with the Scissors Project, basically. Not impressed with their attitude, not impressed with their behavior, not looking for fame or fortune in haircutting. I don't even think that she wants to be, wants to take over her father's salon or anything. But she does kind of pop in and cut hair for people who are genuinely, like, distressed or upset about their appearance. She kind of comes in and helps them. Whereas the Scissors Project picks cute girls and tries to make them cuter and whatever, and they're kind of like entitled about it. And so anyway, I heard about this series years ago, and I really, really wanted to read it, but of course it was mostly out of print. I wasn't going to just buy like 1 or 2 volumes that I could get my hands on. And then lo and behold, someone on Kijiji was selling the entire 10-volume series for $30. So $3 a volume, and these are in like pristine condition for the entire series that I've been wanting for years. So I was so happy to find this. I've read the first 2 volumes so far, and then this final volume comes with stickers, which I won't use obviously, but they're still in there, which is nice. Yeah, super stoked to find Beauty Pop because, like I said, literally years I've been looking for this, and I was hoping it would pop up one day, and it did, and for a very, very, very good price. So I immediately, like, I check Kijiji in my area every day to see if anything pops up, and yeah, immediately it popped up, and I messaged the person like, "Do you have this? Can I come like tomorrow?" And yeah, it was a really good find. Next up, I got Queen Emeraldis, volumes 1 and 2. I believe this is a 4-volume series in total. These are both like just over 400 pages each, despite how thin they look. The paper is beautiful. See, this is a Kodansha hardcover that is done right. It's hardcover, it's heavy, it's glossy, beautiful paper. That is just well done. And this is worth the price that they're charging for it. So I don't understand why they do some hardcovers really beautifully and some in really terrible quality. But anyway, Queen Emeraldis by Leiji Matsumoto. Never read anything else by Leiji Matsumoto, but this one, the first volume, was on like a big sale on chapters for some reason, and I decided to just get both at the same time so I could actually read the whole thing. It was really good. I have a review coming out of this, I think in the new year. At this point is where I'm scheduling my next review videos. So probably in January you'll see a review of this, but I enjoyed this so much. I read the whole thing in one sitting. It's a fun space opera adventure, which is exactly what I was in the mood for. The art is stunning, as you can see. And it's just a fun little random story collection of Emeraldis and her kind of overprotectiveness of this boy who wants to build his own spaceship and travel the universe. But, and he keeps kind of getting into some trouble with different planets and folks who are out in space. And so Emeraldis comes in and sometimes murders, but sometimes just teaches folks a lesson when they mess with someone that's important to her. Excellent, excellent series. Highly recommend picking it up if you're into space stuff. Next one we got is The Sky is Blue with a Single Cloud by Kuniko Tsurita. The review of this will be out in the new year as well. New drawn and quarterly alternative manga collection. This was excellent. Kuniko Tsurita was the first female mangaka to be featured in Garo magazine in Japan. And this was back in the, was it the 70s? I can't remember exactly what years she was writing. And she was young. She was like 18. She died really young, unfortunately. She had lupus, but in her very young, short career in manga, she made a stamp on the industry. And unfortunately, people don't remember her much. And at the time, because it was such a man's world, in especially alternative manga, but just manga in general at the time, she wasn't given the credit that she really deserved. And so I was super happy to see this picked up by Drawn and Quarterly because I had never heard of her either. And this is a beautiful, huge collection of a lot of her stories, you know, spanning her career. It's not all of her stories, but yeah, if you like alternative manga, this is one to check out. It's a very different feeling, even though she writes, you know, like, she wasn't writing like super femininely, if that makes sense. Like, you wouldn't pick this up and it wasn't reading as though she was, like, it wasn't very obvious that she was a woman, but there's something about it that the tone is just different from the men who were writing alternative manga at the time. And there's something deeper here. And she supposedly, there's a huge like 40-page essay about her at the back. Like, you can just tell that she was a very intelligent person, especially considering how young she was when she was writing these. A lot of darker themes about death, especially when she obviously found out when she was diagnosed with lupus and knew she was going to die. A lot of her stories took on an even darker turn or tone, but really beautiful collection. I highly recommend picking this up. I always love Drawn and Quarterly's releases, and this one is no exception, and definitely one of my more favorite alternative manga collections that I own, and I own a lot of them. Super beautiful collection. And then next up, we got the first 2-in-1 omnibus of Blue Giant. This is a new 7 Seas release. I love this cover with the black and then the blue and some of the glossy kind of bits of it. This is a jazz manga about this high school kid who he is super convinced he is going to be the best jazz musician in the world. And so he basically goes to the riverside every day and practices his saxophone alone every day. He has no sheet music. He's just completely, off the cuff playing his saxophone. And in this first 2-in-1 omnibus, we kind of see him get his first chance at a gig. And you kind of learn that when you've played this instrument so much, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're good at it. And it doesn't necessarily mean that other people are going to want to hear it, because he plays alone every day. And just because you practice all this time doesn't mean that you're actually making a pleasant sound. And so, he's finding his footing. But the people who are in the industry are starting to take note and seeing that there may be some potential in this kid, even though he is very rough around the edges. But this is totally in the similar vein as like Beck Mongolian Chop Squad, which I've seen the anime for. Similar vein of like Kids on the Slope, obviously another jazz series. But I love music manga. I was super stoked to see this get released. This is 10 volumes long, Blue Giant is, and then there's a spin-off series, or like a sequel series that is also 10 volumes long, and then there is a third sequel, or like another sequel series that is ongoing, I believe, at this point in time. So it's a very popular series in Japan, as far as I understand, and super stoked to have it here. I'm hoping we get more music manga out of this. I'm hoping this does well. And I'd love to get Kids on the Slope in English, because it's been released in so many other countries except translated into English. So anyway, highly recommend checking it out. The art's great. I'm glad they did 2-in-1s, because I think that it would have been difficult to get into the story as much if you only had the first volume. I think that having the second volume in this collection really will grip more people to the story. But yeah, really, really nice release from 7 Seas. Then another one I had pre-ordered, Akka 13 Territory Inspection Department by Matsumoto. This is PS. Even though it technically is like postscript, this is taking place prior to the events of the main series, which is 6 volumes long. I think that G over at Simply G mentioned that this is going to be only 2 volumes, which I think I have the second one pre-ordered already. I wasn't aware how long it was going to be, but we're basically following the generals, the akka generals, and this volume follows how they all kind of came to be on the board, how they became the generals. And which is interesting because, you know, that we don't get to see that in the main series. They're already all in their positions, in place, doing what they're doing, and you don't really get to know much about how they got there. So this kind of brings you up to speed on how they got there, and I'm assuming the second volume will continue with maybe potentially getting into a little bit of the events of the main series from their perspective. I'm not sure, but yeah. Really good. I love Natsume Ono. I own everything that of her works that's out in English, and I enjoy every single one of them. Another used volume I randomly found is Fujoshi Rumi. This is volume 1. This is an old Anime Works manga. It was a couple dollars. I'd never heard of it. I think it's about this guy who meets this girl or starts dating her or something and finds out she's a Fujoshi. And, excuse me, I don't know much about it. I have not read it yet, but I like adding new things to my collection that are new, like publishers that I don't already own, new things that I've never heard of. This is how I've always collected manga. I find things at used stores constantly that I just pick up and want to know more about, and this one is probably just going to be kind of a stupid romance-ish ridiculous comedy, which is fine, and I only have the one volume. I don't expect to ever find more of it, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but I'm happy to have it and see it and get to see what it's about. And then one of my buddies works at our public library, and he texted me a picture of a bunch of manga that they were throwing in the garbage because it was old and they weren't going to keep it. And so he's like, does any of this look interesting to you? And I sent him back what I wanted, and so he grabbed them for me, which was excellent. And so I got a good chunk of Crimson Hero. This is a volleyball shoujo sports manga that's out of print. Obviously, you can see the condition is not great. The library plastic is peeling. I got all the stickers off, but I mean, it was free, and I saved this out-of-print series from the garbage, which I'm happy about, and it's one that I know what it is, and I've heard of it, and I've been interested in it. And so this was not fully published in English. It ended up getting canceled. I think it's a 20-volume series in Japan, and we only got 14. And so I'm missing volumes 5 and 6, but other than that, I have all of the English release. So unfortunately, I won't be able to read past volume 4 unless I find volumes 5 and 6. But, I mean, I am happy to, you can hear the stickiness that I still have to remove, but I did get the stickers themselves off for the most part. And the later volumes, like this one's not in as horrible condition as the other ones. It's actually in pretty decent condition, these next few. So anyway, glad to have saved it from the garbage because they were literally chucking it out. And, but yeah, it's, I'm excited to check it out and see what it's, ugh, that's gross. Yeah, and there's volume 14. And then I also grabbed Zombie Loan, volume 7. This is by Peach Pit, which it's a duo. They did Shugo Chara. And so I've always been interested in Zombie Loan. Never had it. This one's in horrible condition, but I figured honestly it's going in the garbage anyway. I might as well get it, flip through it, and see if I want to track down the other volumes and or just use it for some arts and crafts, because like the spine is broken, it's just in horrible condition. But again, it was going in the garbage, and I didn't want that to happen when it's something that I have been intrigued by. So yeah, that is everything that I've picked up in the month of November. So thank you for watching, and let me know if there's any questions you have about any of the series I showed. Yeah, Thanks for watching.